usually tell you about something which has happened in our garage to one of our cars. This time, I'm going to tell you about what happened to me not long ago. I still can't get over how long it took me to see what was really quite obvious all the time, that a lick of paint on the outside wasn't going to change me on the inside. But see for yourself what I mean. I was out for my usual Saturday run with Mr. McIntosh. He's very fond of me because I'm so well made and can't go too fast. On this afternoon, I'd taken old Mr. McIntosh out into the country. He took me up to the hills to have a view of the reservoir and the viaduct. Up the hills we went slowly, slowly. Poor old me, I could feel myself getting hotter and hotter. I'm not so young as I used to be. My radiator's boiling. I'll have to stop, I cried. And Mr. McIntosh pulled into the side until I was almost hidden by the sprays of cow parsley in the hedge. Suddenly, kapwow! Zoom! What was that? Kapwow! Zoom! There it was again. I just caught sight of a flash of red as a new car roared past. Then another and another. I counted 64 cars zooming easily up the hill. It was the last leg of the 500-mile rally. I'd cooled down by now, and I chugged slowly to the top of the hill, but I didn't look at the view. I was feeling very thoughtful. Why can't I go up hills like that, I wondered. I got a good engine. Bert, the mechanic, takes great care of me and keeps me in excellent condition. I drive well and carefully, but somehow I can't drive fast like them. Rather sadly, I drove Mr. McIntosh home. The next day, I had an idea. The car that had really taken my fancy as it roared up the hill had been red. Perhaps if I were painted red instead of dull old black and green, that would do the trick. I had a word with Bert, the mechanic. All the same to me what colour you are, Fandango, said Bert. If you think red paint on the outside is going to make you a better, faster car, well, you try it. Come along and choose which shade of scarlet or crimson you want. Some hours later, I emerged from the workshop a brilliant, gleaming red. All the other cars in the garage admired me, except Snoopy Sneer, the yellow sports car. I preferred you black and green, Fandango, he said. Whoever saw a car as old as you painted bright red? It's to make me like the car I saw in the rally, so that I can go fast like her. She zoomed up the hills. Japonica tried to console me. You're a very nice colour, she said. I hope it will help you. When next Saturday came, I took Mr. McIntosh up to the hills full of expectancy. But what a disappointment. I still couldn't zoom up them, and once again my radiator boiled and I had to stop. Perhaps it wasn't the red paint after all, I said sadly to Mr. McIntosh. Perhaps I was carried away with the brightness and the colour. You certainly were, he said in a disgruntled voice. I don't like this red paint at all. It doesn't suit you one bit. Please make sure you're black and green again the next time you take me out. I felt really fed up as I returned to the garage. Immediately I had a word with Bert. The colour didn't do the trick, I explained. I still couldn't zoom up the hills, and Mr. McIntosh was disgusted with the new colour. He says he doesn't ever want to see me this colour again. Yeah, you poor old thing, Bert said to me. Oh, I'm sorry it wasn't a success, and if Mr. McIntosh was disgusted, we'd better do something about it. I'll get the black and green paint ready now for a quick change. It won't take long. Good old Bert. He's always so kind and understanding. But I've got another idea. I've been thinking, Bert, I said the next day when I was used to me old black and green self again. Could shape have anything to do with speed? That red car I saw was quite a different shape. I think shape can help, said Bert. But if I change your shape, Fandango, what will Mr. McIntosh say to that? You won't look like an old Ford anymore. I've already had to change you back to your old colours. Yes, there is that, I said, but I do so want to be different. A perky little car called Minuet, who'd been listening to us, interrupted. My dear Fandango, it's obvious what you've got to do, she cried. New paint won't change you and make you go faster. Paint's only on the outside. Neither will a new shape. That's just outward appearance too. What you want is a new inside, a new engine. Isn't it, Bert? Then Fandango will really be a changed car and able to go fast. A new engine? I wailed. I can't have a new engine. Don't you realize that mine is a very early model? It's rare. People come a long way to see my engine. I can't change that. Then you will have to stay as you are, said Minuet firmly, still chugging slowly up the hills and having to rest on them. I do want to be different, I said despondently, but you see, my engine is so special. I know all its little ways, how to coax it along, what petrol it likes, and all that sort of thing. Oh, I couldn't part with my old engine. Then you must forget about speed, said Minuet. Would it have to be a whole new engine? I asked a few minutes later, or just a few bits here and there. What do you think, Bert? A completely new engine, said Bert. A new model entirely. You can't have a bit of your old one and a bit of a new one. Oh, it would change my whole character, wouldn't it? I sighed. But I do so want to go fast like that red car I saw. You must choose what you want more, said Minuet. A new engine that goes fast on the hills, or your own special engine that gets stuck. That decided me. I suddenly made up my mind. I shall have a new engine, I cried. Can you fit it for me, Bert? Then I shall really be a new Fandango inside, not just on the outside. Well, if you're really sure that's what you want, said Bert, I'll do it just for you, but it's a big decision to make. I am sure, I said firmly. I really want to be quite different. Bert's a good bloke. As soon as he could get hold of the new engine, he started work on me. I have to admit, I did have a moment of panic. I didn't really want to let go of my dear old engine that I knew so well. Can't I have both? I pleaded hopefully again. No, Fandango, said Bert rather loudly. Either one or the other. I closed my eyes and took a deep breath. All right, I said. All right, take out the old engine, put in the new. What a lot of work it meant. Several people had to help Bert. At last it was done. I felt quite strange. The other cars looked at me curiously, wondering how I felt. Don't suppose it'll work, said Snoopy Sneer. It's just another one of Fandango's fantastic ideas. On Saturday I was all ready when Mr. McIntosh came. He was very pleased to see that Bert had already found time to paint me back in my old colours again. But he was not so sure he was pleased about the new engine. All the other cars hooted their horns as I roared out of the garage in triumph. In a few minutes we were past the gasworks and out of the town, past the airport, and for a few fanciful moments I felt I was going as fast as one of the planes overhead. Past the level crossing and up into the hills, I zoomed up with ease. Not once did I have to slow down or stop. My radiator didn't boil. I felt wonderful. Mr. McIntosh beamed happily at the wheel. He liked the new me. It was worth it, I roared as we sped on our way. Worth getting rid of that old engine, worth having a new one. And I honked my horn loudly as I overtook a milk lorry. I'm a new car now because I got a new engine, I cried, and regretfully slowed down a level crossing. Well, said Minuet when I finally returned to Top Gear Motors, do you want your old engine back again? I didn't need to answer her. She could just see by looking at me. Well, that was quite an adventure, I can tell you, but one that has changed my whole life. Of course, it's not the same for you poor humans, is it? You can't fit a new engine if you want to be different, can you? It often puzzles me. If you want to be different, what do you do? Is there any way in which you can alter yourselves and be a new sort of person?